Are you looking for a way to help your brick-and-mortar business drive more traffic and increase your sales? Look no further than the Receipt Paper Podcast. In this podcast, Joanne and Kyle provide their sage advice on how to make your brick-and-mortar store the hottest spot in town. Whether you're just launching a new business or trying to grow an existing one, these informative episodes will leave you inspired. In each episode, Joanne and Kyle take on a different topic related to running a successful business. They offer practical tips based on their own experience as owners of multiple brick-and-mortar locations. So whatever challenges you're facing, they have actionable advice for you. From finding a location and executing your build-out, to merchandising and customer experience, to sales and marketing, Joanne and Kyle have you covered. With helpful advice from these experienced entrepreneurs, you are sure to learn how to increase your sales and have your business running out of receipt paper in no time. Let's dive right in.
Welcome back to episode 8 of the Receipt Paper Podcast. I am Kyle Strubing. I am one of your hosts here with my life partner, business partner, all things partner, Joanne Mester, soon to be Strubing. Joanne, baby, how we doing?
We are good. That soon-to-be Strubing's coming up fast.
Very fast. I'm getting excited.
Yes.
Starting to get little inside baseball. We are getting married in September. We're doing a whole Texas-style wedding. It's going to be epic. We're getting a lot of RSVPs back and stuff like that. So it's exciting. Good conversations with the family. I'm really looking forward to it. Someone has a bachelorette party coming up in a few weeks too. So.
We're headed to Galveston for a little girls trip, so I'm pumped for that.
I can see that. A lot of things keep showing up at the front door. In the mailbox for bathing suits and all types of themed things. I'm sure that I'm sure you guys are going to have a great time.
We're going all out.
Yeah. I'm more focused on covering the store for that full time. But hey, I've been there, done that.
We'll be trading places soon enough.
We will. Yeah, I'll get you back. I'm set to go in July down in Austin. So it'll be. I'm excited. I'm excited to get married. I'm excited for a lot of stuff that we have going on for sure. So I know you're super excited about this topic. Why don't we get cracking on that?
I love this topic, but before I give you an overview of what we're diving in today, I wanted to make sure that all of you were aware that we are hosting a 4-day live brick-and-mortar business boot camp. So
that's right, yes.
For 4 days, we're going live for an hour on various topics. Day 1 will be how to validate your business idea, so really understanding if your idea is right for your market. Day 2 is making 4 key decisions that are really going to help you set the foundation for your business and how you're going to differentiate yourself in your market. Day 3 is all about finding location, my favorite topic to dive into. And day 4, we're going to show you how to fund your business. So, and we even threw in a bonus mood board workshop I'm real excited about. So you can really start to kind of take the topic we're talking about today and really start implementing, what that design and feel for your store is going to be like. So I'm super excited. You need to register for it so that you can get the Zoom links and all the workbooks and all the exciting stuff. So jump over to the show notes at masterbrickandmortar.com/8 and you can register for the boot camp. But I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, we keep getting more and more people coming into it, so it should be a great turnout. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. Tons of gold, so many nuggets.
Yeah, we've never done any free events like this, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it'll definitely be worth it, for sure.
For sure. All right, so today's topic, we are diving into the future of brick and mortar, which is experiential retail.
Right.
So this is a topic that we are really passionate about. It's something that we have always implemented in our businesses and looked for ways to continue to grow in this space. So today we're going to talk to you about what the heck experiential retail even is. You might be wondering, what is that? So we're going to walk you through that, show you a little research on why it's so valuable and why we think it is the future of brick and mortar. And then Kyle and I have picked out a couple of examples for you so you can really start to understand and see it in action. So we'll walk you through those examples. And then this is such a large episode that we are going to cut it up into 2 weeks. So come back next week and we're going to show you exactly how to implement an experience in your store. So
I think there's a lot of things within this experiential retail that as a consumer you kind of take for granted. And then once that veil has been lifted, you see kind of what they're trying to accomplish and the fact that there is a method to the madness. So stay tuned. We're going to dig in and go from there for sure. But it was like I said, like I can really visualize when we step in and whenever we consult or go to these businesses, I stand there and you kind of have to visualize and take it all in and think of the customer experience and where they're going to move and how, the transition points and what you're looking to accomplish at certain things. And then at the end, obviously the end is the close and the money. But everything, not everything should be, at least in a successful business or somebody who's doing this successfully, it should seem a lot more seamless and almost that you don't really recognize it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So, when we think about the future of brick and mortar, gone are the days that people just walk in, want to buy a product. You can buy products anywhere online, unfortunately. It is our biggest competition. So, brick and mortar business is really changing in the way that consumers and what they want to get out of it, right? Like they're not just coming in to compare prices. They can do that online. They can get education on products online, maybe not as well as you in the store, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of volume in the online space. So when you're thinking about walking into a business, it's taking it to that extra level of giving them a reason of why they want to come into that store or the experience that they're providing.
Exactly. Why are they going to drive past your competitors to get to your store, right? In the retail, in the physical retail space, or just go on their phone. Like if it's, the opposite, I would think, right, is opposite of experiential is what? Transactional?
Yeah.
Which is a lot more, hey, here's the product, go. And we have a ton of customers that it's that way, but we've built that loyalty. Point being, we want to make sure to create this culture and create an experience that brings them back that they can't get anywhere else. And you need to tailor your business to that. And we're going to show you how to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you are a service-based business, I don't want you to stop listening because there is a big reason why our services have stood out against our competitors. And that's because we really took it that extra mile to create more of an experience. They're in the service industry, let's say you're doing massage, there's going to be 10 places that offer massages, but how do you take that experience to the next level to really create something that sets yourself apart from everyone, right? Would you say that?
For sure. In our services, we think of how to, you want to think that we're almost leaving the planet or stepping into something totally different, totally otherworldly. And that's done very well and has really set us apart from our competition with the services. It's that extra little detail and that, yes, the service is bar none, tops, but that extra thing that kind of sets you apart, that puts them in that headspace that's really what sets you apart.
Yeah. So if you're offering services, we're going to dive in a little deeper into what we do, but keep listening. I promise you'll find value in this episode.
Sure.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what is experiential retail. I know we've given you a little glimpse here, but I wanted to share a little research with you. Research has shown that the future is consumers are only going to want to travel to a physical business to either learn, play, experiment, or experience in a way that's not possible from home. So I think the key here when we're talking about experiential retail is really focusing on that experience part. So we're big believers that whether you're selling products, or services, that the role of your business is not just to convert shoppers into buyers, but to really convert shoppers into raving fans. And Kyle, you've said this all the time.
Yeah, we don't get we look for fans, not customers.
Yeah.
That's been one of our mottos since day one.
Yeah.
We're looking for fans, not customers, and that you're able to cross sell them across whatever it is truly that you're doing. So it's not just limited to one or two products, but yeah, we're big into the fans.
Yeah, and when you do that, you create a place that people want to continue to come back to. They're not just coming in once, but they're continuing to come back time and time and time again.
They want to be associated with you really in all walks. They've seen what you've done and they believe in it and they believe in you and the feeling of what you're portraying and what you're doing.
Right, right. So when we're thinking about an experience, I'm going to go kind of on the extreme side to give you an example here. I want you to think about a Disney theme park. They are the master of creating magical moments in people's lives, is their
Right.
motto, right? They create experiences. One of their theme park designers said story is the essential organizing principle behind their Disney theme parks. So they transform their spaces into story spaces. So when we're thinking about experiential retail, I really want you to think about telling a story with your brand. What is the story you want to tell? What is the feeling that you want people to feel? And, before I dive in more into that, we're not saying you want your store to look like a museum. You don't want a big poster with your backstory about how you funded your business and the first time you tried your product, and that, we're not saying that kind of story. We're really talking about the way that you make customers feel and engage with your products and services. So what they see, what they hear, what they touch, what they smell, how do you want your customers leaving your business and feeling after they've been there?
Right. 100%. And you guys don't have to write Snow White and Seven Dwarves before you open your store, but
Yeah.
you can listen.
We're not building theme parks here, but I just think it's a great example to show you they draw you in every way, from what you're seeing, from what you're hearing at, when you're at Disney.
Yeah, it's a truly visceral
Yeah.
experience. Everything, sight, sounds, every little detail. It is. It's definitely drawn in. They cover all the bases for sure.
Yeah. So here was another interesting stat that I saw when I was kind of researching this topic. There was a study done on 10,000 shoppers, and it showed that 60% of consumers will share a positive experience with others. And this isn't just, word of mouth, but it's also sharing online, basically telling people about that positive experience they had. And I thought this was killer.
Yeah, that's huge.
What other marketing do you have where somebody is out there telling people about your store 60% of the time? It's killer.
It's key. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that to everybody as they leave the store. I'm always big. I'm like, hey, all Facebook shares, posts, all that, all help, tell a friend. And to us, that's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think even if you didn't tell them that, they go ahead and
Sure.
do that just because they had such a great experience.
Right.
And it was a different experience. It was something that they hadn't done anywhere else. So they want to tell people about it, So when you think of that, think of how to create that buzz. What is something that you can offer at your business that nowhere else does, that people are going to want to go out there and tell, hey, mom, I did the craziest thing this weekend, or this store had, the cutest experience. I was able to do this, or, and we'll get into more of those examples, but I just thought that research was phenomenal. There was another study that was done by Forrester and just kind of validates this even more. And it was saying that companies that outperform on the customer experience side dramatically generate higher revenues. And I think that we see this time and time again. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you won't even if you have a poor experience, a lot of times you won't even give it a second thought. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just something else, it's just another blip in your day.
Yeah.
Whereas something that you enjoyed, whether it be you made a connection with somebody there, or you found something, or they changed your way of thinking, or you did something different, it sticks with you for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. All right, so let's take this an extra step and let's go through some various examples so people can kind of see this in action because, sounds nice, create a brand story, make customers feel a certain way, but let's share some examples of some businesses that are
Sure.
doing this. You got
Yeah.
one
Well, I
first?
got mine is one of my favorite places to go to is Black Rifle Coffee Company. They created a story based on, veteran-owned business. They had served, and now what they've done, and they're very well known. I mean, I think they even have coffee in Walmart and stuff like that. But I know now locally, at least in the Dallas area, and they're continuing to expand. They have their own coffee shops now. And we're noticing a lot with that. These larger brands are pivoting towards a footprint in the brick and mortar space, which is
Yeah.
great. And you've been in there. We every time we go to a certain, to Plano, we kind of make a detour to go there because I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You get the smell of the coffee when you walk in and the merch. I
The
mean, it's
merch.
all
Yeah.
about the merch. The coffee is great, but it's about the merch. It's about the people there. It's kind of they've created a kind of a counterculture a little bit to Starbucks, and that's, like take from it what you will, but that counterculture, something different is it adds to it.
Yeah.
It really does. There's a reason why the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees are so popular not only for their fans but for the people that don't like them as much.
Right?
You know what I mean? So that there is something to that to be said, and take away whatever branding that they do have, what their brand specifically is, still the method at which they do it. You come in, you walk in, and you're just hit with this smell, and you see all these things being hung there, or things. You see all the products, the shirts, the stuff like that, and that's and then you become a walking billboard for them.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and it really is. And you see, the hats and the this and the that, and you're waiting in line, and you can see the guys working in the back and stuff. It's so much more than just transactional
Yeah.
there. You really feel kind of part of it, and you feel like you're supporting. I don't know. I feel like I'm supporting America, and it really just lends to the brand, and they've been so successful because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really neat because we can buy their coffee at Walmart for
Right.
less, actually.
Yeah.
We purposely go out of our way because we just love that experience.
Yeah.
And it really is a community. And every time we're there, I just know Kyle's gonna pick up a hat or shirt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle's going shopping. I'm gonna go pick out my coffee. But no, I love the merch and like you said, it's just people going out there then wearing their brand.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
repping our brand, and the shirts are, I mean, it's the detail of it. They're quality. It's just every detail all the way down is thought of, or at least addressed. You know what I mean? It's not some crap. It's not some junky keychains or
Yeah.
something. It's something you can use, something that you can use in your daily life. Even like, it's spotless there. Like sometimes you go into other coffee places and it's just dingy, and
Yeah.
it's just every little detail from top to bottom has been considered. Um,
The details matter.
it just matters, and
Yeah.
especially we might look at this a little differently, but I don't know, because of the business that we're in. But I see all those tiny details, and
Yeah.
I have such a high standard now,
Yeah.
and see it and respect what's done. It's that they're one of my favorite, I think, brands on how they did it, and one of my favorite retail experiences for sure.
I think you brought up a really good point, and as we've been researching this topic that has continued to come up is these online companies are now looking for
Yeah.
brick and mortar businesses to provide a place for people to experience their brand. Like when you think about um, Apple, like anybody can buy Apple online. Apple's products are incredible, but they want the Apple Store so you can go in there and experience their brand fully. Like they have such a different experience where you can sit there and try every single one of their products and talk to people about them. And, it really is like an extension of their brand. And it's a huge marketing,
Yeah, well, it
Yeah.
gives them an opportunity to upsell you, while you're there getting your iPad fixed or whatever. You can get a watch, you can do this, you can do that. It's a huge opportunity, and it really creates some humanity to a pretty sterile brand. I
Yeah.
mean, you think of just that Apple with the bite out of it, and Steve Jobs, I guess, but what's really the human aspect to it, where that kind of lends some humanity and some
Yeah.
realness to it, I think.
Yeah, I know Amazon has talked about wanting to bring some stores to brick and mortar. I think we'll see some more of that. Not to scare anyone, I think that you can stand out well above and beyond Amazon's brick and mortar, but I just think you're going to see a lot more of this hybrid model where people are using brick and mortar businesses as a display of their brand and not necessarily somewhere that you come and transact product,
Right.
but you come and experience their brand.
Well,
And
they've seen it that, people still want to see, how is this going to fit in my hand?
mhm,
What does this smell like? I don't know. What you can't, we sell topical creams, and that's one of the biggest things.
yeah,
People want to smell it. Well, before
yeah.
I buy it online and they go in and they crack it open, and yeah, and here they are, and gee, I know you said whatever, here's something else that would be a great combination with what you're looking to do. And it's a win-win for everybody. It is. And not to mention it's like a walking billboard. It's like a real
Yeah.
life billboard too.
Having that hybrid model, I think, is so key. Because you are going to have people that come into your business and just want to try it. They found what they liked, they smelt it, they tried it on, they touched it. And then in the future, they might want an easier way to purchase. So having online available to them is great. And also finding ways to get them back into the store. But yeah,
Yeah, that's how you build that human connection. It is.
good example, Kyle. All right,
Thank you.
so I've got one. Mine is Sonos speakers. So I don't know, you know Sonos speakers,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
They're one of, thousands and thousands of speaker brands, but they do have a great, phenomenal product. But really cool story to their brick and mortar business. So when they were first launching, they were in the online space, but they wanted to build a brick and mortar business in New York City. And they were asking customers, how were you introduced to our speakers? And customers were telling them it was usually like at their friend's house or, sitting, at their mom's living room or,
Right.
that was how they were experiencing the speakers. And they were like, man, these are awesome. So they decided to create a retail space and it has these enclosed listening rooms. So each room is furnished like an apartment or a living room or, a patio. Like it gives you the look and feel so that you can go into each of these rooms and experience the speakers in a different way. So I think it was so cool to take that extra step. I think all of us have been to like the Best Buys and the
Or IKEA's.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where all the furniture's falling apart in front of your eyes. You'll see how it'll look before it'll fall apart. Sorry, IKEA. They're not a sponsor. But yeah, no, it's definitely you're not. It enables you. It's funny because you can literally put yourself there, and yet it enables you to kind of see what your stuff would do or
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
there without limiting you. It's funny, you would think it would limit you to what you could do, but it actually just
yeah.
it broadens your possibilities, and it's to things that you thought you would never utilize their products.
Right.
It's a really interesting concept. I really
Yeah.
enjoy it.
When you're sitting in their, home theater room, all of a sudden, you're convincing your wife to turn that guest bedroom into a home theater and
Right.
why you need those speakers because it's so cool. I mean, yes, it just takes it all to the next level. And of course, people want to go there to experience it, right?
Right.
So, a couple other features they have is these huge lounge spaces where people can really just come and hang out there. So they don't want you just to stop by and leave. They get you to really hang out and stay. They also have artwork all over the space of um, top musicians. So they're really just taking, obviously, people that are looking for nice speakers are passionate about music, right? So they're kind of, capitalizing on that feeling of people being passionate about music. So I think, all those different ways is really just creating that experiential retail
Right.
experience.
Right.
Yeah, cool. You got another
I
example?
do have
Okay.
another example. You're going to see how, where my life is at. But next thing is for me, it's this. There's this place called Texas Gun Experience. It's not far. It's not far from my house. It's right over by the store. I really enjoy this place. You can go to any gun range anywhere, right? And you can get a lot, you can get a lane, and you can do your thing, and you can go anywhere. Reason why I like to go to this place, first of all, it's a little bit more modern, it's a little bit newer. Overall feel of it is, it's just modern. It just speaks a lot more towards me. Next thing is it's not some dirty, dingy gun range. They are almost like the Chick-fil-A, right? They do everything that everybody does. They just do it a little bit better, right? And as you walk up there, before you even get to the lane to register for a lane, and I've noticed this with a lot of stores, you're able to see all their product. So as you're walking through, they have where you're registering in the corner. So you're now seeing all the things that you could possibly need before and you go and do your session, right? Their employees are able to kind of say, hey, they're able to greet you, all that stuff. But then you look and you're able to see, oh, shoot, I try this or try this or try this, or I could use this. And that really lends to, your average transaction there. I think of a lot of things for that. You are able to purchase merchandise and you're able to purchase, once again, I'm a big fan of the merch. I mean, the shirts, hats, I can't go anywhere without buying a $30 hat. I just can't. But the biggest thing that I like about them is they have classes there. And that is huge. Not only is it another revenue stream for them, but it just gets you more involved and it gets you better knowledge. And I think knowledge in any space, especially with guns, is huge, but it can just apply to everywhere. I mean, I know when we first started, we were doing a ton of classes. We were just teaching people. I was standing on top of the counter talking to 30 people and handing out samples. And it was key. It was, and you're able to see, feel, um, touch the products that we
Learn.
had and learn. Yeah, what is it that we're doing here? What is, and hey, would you like to be in, and it was at every stage. Do you want to learn more? Do you want to learn basic? Do you want to learn this? And with that, one thing that they've done and done a really good job at is create a community around it. I recognize the people. You take classes with a couple people, and you get to recognize it, and it's like cheers. You're always glad you did it. You feel like that, and that was a big thing. Another thing that I like about them too is they like you're able to handle like the stuff, right? And that's not just for not just for that specific product, but keep in mind, like even at our store, one thing that we're real big on, like products are not in glass cases, right? You're able to touch things, feel things, sample creams, do
Yeah,
this, do that. They have rentals at TGE, so you're allowed to just. That's the
yeah,
difference to me.
yeah,
That's the difference between somewhere that's just you're looking at something through a case, you're this, that, and the other. You could have bought that thing online.
right.
That's the difference. And you have an employee come up behind you and sit here and say, "Hey, here, what do you think about that?" And the knowledge that they have also is key that you can't get really. You just can't get it online without wondering where it came from.
Yeah, it's like when I'm in a store and I feel like I can't touch anything, it drives me
Yeah,
crazy. It's
crazy.
like being a little kid when you just want to like touch it just because, and but yeah, like that's that feeling when you're there is you want to touch it and experience it for yourself. I want to hold that beautiful perfume and feel like, ooh, like I want this product or
Yeah,
whatever it is. But I think to your point, on your example, I love the community aspect and the classes because it really just sets your business up
Right.
as you as the expert, and people want to come to you to learn. They want to come and ask, oh, they thought of a question. They will literally come stop by your store, just ask you that question, or
Yes.
send somebody in to ask you a question because now they see you as the expert. You
If
teach
it's
all these classes.
not even necessarily related to what we actually do too. Like even at our store, it's like we are in the health and wellness business, but like we don't sell X product, and I'll have people come in and ask me just my opinion of
Yeah.
it or that service or whatever. And it's like, well, hey, I don't really know as much, but what are you looking to get out of that?
Yeah.
And say, hey, well, we can do this through this solution. And people don't know what they don't know. When I'm sitting in one of these classes or whatever, I was like, holy cow, well, that's something I hadn't thought of. Maybe on my way back out when I pass all the products, I'm going to spend another $130 on
Yeah.
something. I mean, you open more opportunities. It's almost like a soft sell. It really is. But yeah, I mean, the community and the classes, I'm a huge fan of the classes. And then it's not like the classes were free either. I paid to be there too. So you're making revenue off of that and you're making revenue off of
Yeah.
all the other stuff that you use. So that's definitely one of my favorite places to be, favorite place to spend money and go to.
I think we know what you enjoy now. And
Yeah.
so I've got another example. This is not a place that I've personally ever been, but read a study on it, and it's really cool. So this example was a little extreme over the top, and I think it does a great job of giving you a visual of what we're talking about here. So this example is Globetrotter, which Globetrotter I think is a German company. They're an outdoor equipment store. So think of like your Shields or
Dick's,
Dick's Sporting Goods,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
So they took their it kind of is like a theme park model, but the inside of their store, you get to experience these different spaces. So, like, they have a high altitude chamber and an Arctic chamber, so you
Really?
can test your like weather gear. So, like, you can say, like, okay, you have a product that says that it can handle up to negative XYZ degrees.
It sounds
So
awful.
you can go in their Arctic chamber and really test it out and see what it's like. In their shoe section, they have these different terrains where you can actually test out the shoes. So you can test it out on like gravel or a rocky mountain or test it out on like a concrete trail. So, and I like when I think of that, I'm like, how cool. Like when you're spending $200 on a brand new pair of hiking shoes and you're like, man, I don't even know like we do this all the time. When I get new shoes and you get out on your hiking trip and all of a sudden you realize they suck and you're going to be miserable the rest of the hike. Like how cool to be able to actually test them out on the terrain in the store. Like when I read that, I was like, this is so cool.
That's cool.
Like I would absolutely go in there. They do so many cool things there. They have like water. They even have water in there where you can like kayak and stuff. But they also have like an immunization clinic where you can get your vaccines before, like for malaria before you go on travel. And they offer overnight camping in their store so you can test out their tents.
Where is
Like
this pipe? I
I
need to
know
find one.
it's not in this country, unfortunately,
Uh-uh.
but maybe we could travel. But I mean, I know that these are extremes, but even think about if your store offered just one of these. Like if your store just added that added value of, vaccines, like I mean, I'm not trying to get in vaccines here, but something that
Yeah.
that offered an additional value or just the ability to try on the shoes on a different terrain or
50 feet down the street from us. Like
yeah.
they put you before you walk in, you walk in around looking for shoes. Well, yeah, okay, cool. But they take there and they're the expert, and that's what it does is it pivots you as an expert, right?
Okay.
And they sit there and they look at your gait and they do this and they do that. And I get it. There's value in that. There
Yeah.
really is. And you're gonna go by there, you're gonna buy your whatever shoes at, Walmart on the cheap or whatever, but the things that you need that
Yeah.
need to be, on point, you go to the experts. I love that. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic. But to my point, you can scale it down. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be this. It
No.
could be they bought a treadmill, and sure, the treadmills aren't cheap, but think of the residual, once you get somebody in there and you got them the right shoes, they're never going anywhere
Yeah.
else. A lot of times when you're in the store, it's not about what you did give them or get them. It's what you told them not to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times people will be like, "Oh, I want to do this," and I was like, "What are we doing here, bud?"
Imagine if you just had a treadmill where people could run on and practice running really quick and be like, oh no, those are falling off you. You
Right,
don't want those. Like,
right.
I mean, just something little. Like it does not have to be you don't need a $2,000, Arctic chamber. I mean, sorry,
2,000.
$2,000. But just one little way that start with one and then add from there. Another thing that Globetrotter did that I thought was really cool was at their grand opening, they gave everyone mealworms, which, obviously they eat when they go on these like outdoor. It was a big part of their personal story of, going on all these outdoor excursions and eating mealworms. And so I just thought it was cool, really bringing them into like all of a sudden you're on this outdoor experience with them. I don't recommend
It
feeding
just
people
got real.
mealworms at
Yeah.
your store, but if there's some way that you can, I think when you have food and beverages, it really can enhance an experience. So,
Love it.
love that. All right, before we wrap up this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about our experience, especially on the services side.
Good.
So Kyle, do you want to talk a little bit about our thought process going into, how we set up our experiences or our services to provide an experience? Sorry.
For sure. So one thing we did and we looked at is in our research process, I have no shame. Like I will go to my competitors and I will use their services for 5, 6 weeks at a time. And I will sit here and I say, what worked well and what didn't? What
Yeah.
would I like and what wouldn't? What wouldn't I? And that was one thing that because I mean, it seems pretty obvious, right? You're looking for holes within the industry, and I feel like we were able to plug those up. But the other thing that with our services is we create like otherworldly experiences, right? In the one of our rooms is a space room, and it feels like you're literally leaving and going into space.
Yeah.
It's impressive. People walk in, even to this day, I'm amazed that like you could see their jaw drop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it's not like we spent $1 million
No.
on the thing. It just was so different than what everybody else was doing.
It took some wallpaper, some paint, and a galaxy light.
Galaxy, it really did.
You know?
It really did. And that was that. I mean, people just, I'm not talking down on everybody else, but it was so everybody else is so sterile to me that this just created a whole nother. It's just another layer, and people believe in that. People feel that, and I mean, we're doing flotation therapy,
Yeah.
and that lends to, kind of. I don't know, it's not psychedelic as much, but like kind of leaving your body and out of body
Yeah.
experience. And what greater way to do that and show that is in a space,
Yeah.
in a space setting.
So we saw that we kind of had these two demographics. We had people that wanted to try the try the float therapy kind of for this psychedelic out of body experience. And then we had people that really wanted the tranquil relaxation part. So we created both of those experiences. We had one that's the space room, and then we have this other room that we have like a living wall
Right.
on like a bunch of green plants all over the wall. So you feel like you're actually stepping into like a jungle when you walk in there. So, it really fuels those people that just want to feel like they're stepping into this relaxing float room, and they come out and they're like, wow, that was just so tranquil, and
Right.
and it really enhances that experience. From the moment they walk into the room, they instantly
It sets the tone right
Yeah.
away, and it's so different. We get a lot of people who we're real close to DFW airport, so we get a lot of people who float all over the country, and they just say they love that they love the Oasis one just because it creates that and it captures it and brings them right in right away.
Yeah.
To sit here and say, oh, this is going to be different. this isn't going to be a sterile thing. This is not, this isn't going to be something that it's just going to be way different. The other thing too is when we bring them in, I give them tours all the time.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, look, this is where we started. You can see the front of the store, and they walk by the products too, right? That's another part of the experience. They walk by the products, they see, and a lot of times we go, oh, on my way out, I'm going to make sure and get something great, awesome. We can do that. We talk business later. Get them in. Well, then and I show them around, and people appreciate that. They're talking to the owner. They're you know, um, they're able to hear our story. They're able to see what other products that we have, what other services that we offer. I show them, hey, look, this is the one thing. This is our newest thing. We're trying to get that going. Oh, wow, that's cool. My uncle would really enjoy that. And then I take them into one of the sauna rooms or a plunge room or something like that. Oh, I've seen that on Instagram, or I've this, I've that. And then they go through, and then you turn them in and you show them that room or the other rooms, and they're just like mind blown. Because all of our other competitors are like, okay, cool, yeah, you're ready in room 4, have fun. And I
Yeah.
take 10, 15 minutes. Do you have any questions? What are you looking to get out of this? I call it, I am the float angel. Well, but you pivot yourself as an expert. You are the guide.
Yeah.
Do you need something extra? Do you need all these other ancillary things that can assist your flow? And sometimes people are like, yeah, right, whatever, buddy, go for it. Go away. And that's fine. But a lot of times people want to know, what are you doing? What are you not doing?
Yeah.
How do I make this experience better? And it's so different than everybody else's. It really is.
I heard a quote yesterday I thought was really cool. It was like, don't be the hero, be the guide. And I
Yeah.
love that. Like, don't, you know, just try to show off your space, but guide them through your
Right.
space,
Right.
right? Like show them like what they can get out of your services and why they're in a valuable space. And oh, yes.
Yeah, I take the time because, and I think a lot of that, we do it a lot different now. We've evolved, but I think in the beginning it was like, I want to make sure that these guys know how to use the machine properly. If they can't get the light off, or if they can't do whatever, it can just something so simple like that, I don't want to say ruin their experience, but can make the experience a lot less.
Right.
And if they're unable, if someone's cold, or if someone's this, or if someone's that, they're not focused so much on what happened. They're focused on, what they were going through, if they were cold or something stupid like that.
Yeah. So I hope all of these examples have helped you see how you can create an experience in your space. And next week, we'll dive into some exact examples on little ways that you can just start implementing an experiential retail experience. But the biggest takeaway, if you take away one thing from this, is how do you want customers to feel when they leave your space? And how can you bring that feeling to them while they're there? From what they see, what they hear, what they touch, what they taste, what they smell, every little detail should help promote that feeling that you want them to leave feeling, right?
And be cognizant of how you feel and why you feel that way at some of your favorite places.
Yeah.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
I mean, think of why do I go to this place as opposed to this place? And then how do I replicate that within my business?
Yeah, absolutely. I go to Costco for the free samples, so we're making
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I hope you found this a valuable one. We will be back next week, so tune in so you can really take this and start implementing it into your business. It's so powerful. It's really where we see the future of brick and mortar businesses and how to really sustain your business and make sure that it stays profitable for years and years and years to come. So don't forget to sign up for the Brick and Mortar Business Bootcamp. We'll be taking some of these things to the next level in
For
the
sure.
boot camp. So can't wait. Any last words, Kyle?
No, just sign up for that boot camp. There's going to be a ton of nuggets there. I think the last one, even, a lot of times, the last day is going to be key too. And obviously tune into all of them, but the last day of how to fund is definitely pretty important. That's one of the biggest questions I get for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Receipt Paper Podcast, your go-to source of information for starting and growing a successful brick-and-mortar business. Subscribe to hear future episodes and share this content so that more people can access these valuable insights. If you're looking for more resources to help you with your brick-and-mortar business, visit masterbrickandmortar.com or follow us on Instagram at masterbrickandmortar. Thanks again for listening to the Receipt Paper Podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.